Ronnie, your breakfast is ready.
Boy, this getting up at 5 in the morning is really rough. Mother, how did you get out of the bedroom without waking Dad?
Well, you know how hot milk always makes you sleep.
Yeah.
Well, I gave him 5 glasses of hot milk.
Well, that must have worked.
Oh, it certainly did. You know, I had a terrible time waking him up every hour to give him another glass.
Mother, why can't we tell Dad I got this part in the picture? We'll never be able to keep it from him for 5 weeks.
Oh, but we've got to. If your father ever finds out you're going to be out of college that long, it would break his heart. Your education is very important to him because he never had any.
Yes, but, Mother, I feel uncomfortable lying to him.
Oh, well, I understand. Our honeymoon was almost over before I felt comfortable doing it.
I'm sure Dad would be proud that I went to 20th Century Fox and made the test and got this part in Bernardino all on my own.
Oh, I'm sure he would. But remember what your father says. Whether a man knows anything or not, he should have an education to go with it.
Well, it doesn't make sense.
Well, sure. That's why your father wants you to have an education so you won't say things like that.
All right. So I sneak out every morning. But Dad knows that I get home from SC every day at 2:30. How do we explain that?
Well, simple. I'll tell him you flunked all your subjects and you have to stay after school.
No. Go right down to the college.
Well, let him go. They won't let him in. He never went to high school.
Mother, who are you calling?
Blanche Morton. I'm all out of sugar.
Blanche Morton at 5 in the morning? Mother, she'll blow her top. She's asleep.
No, she isn't. Her light just went on.
Harry calling long distance. Something's wrong. I've been... Hello, Harry, are you all right? Harry, are you all right?
Blanche, is there anything wrong with Harry?
Oh, there must be, or he wouldn't call me long distance from Omaha.
Oh, well, then I better hang up because he'll want to use the phone.
Yeah, thanks, Gracie.
Hello?
Gracie, it's me.
Oh, Blanche, how is Harry? Is there anything I can do to help?
He didn't call.
Oh, that's awful. He must be sicker than you think.
No, you called me, didn't you?
No, you just called me. Oh, Blanche, pull yourself together. No matter how sick Harry is, you can't go to pieces that way.
Harry is fine.
Oh, wonderful. Now there, Blanche. You see, you were alarmed over nothing.
That's right. Now, since Harry called me so early in the morning, what did you want?
Well, I'm making Ronnie's breakfast, and I need some sugar for his coffee. I wonder if you bring over half a cup right away.
Yeah, sure.
Mother, we'll never be able to keep this a secret from Dad. The Hollywood Reporter and the Variety are sure to mention that I've got a part in this picture. What if he sees it there?
Oh, that'll be awful. You know, he's such a blabbermouth. He'll start telling everybody about it, and then he'll be sure to find it out.
No, Mother, what I meant...
Oh, I mean it, dear. You know, your father is sweet, but he can't keep a secret to save his life.
I guess so.
Oh, he couldn't even keep our own marriage a secret after promising on his word of honor.
Mother, why would you make him promise to keep it a secret?
Well, I didn't. It was my parents. Oh, poor George. You know, we went to a hotel in Cleveland for our honeymoon, and before he'd even registered, he blabbed it to the desk clerk that we were married. I embarrassed. Oh, thanks. Don't make any noise.
Good morning, Mrs. Morton.
Oh, hi, Ronnie. Oh, please excuse the way I look.
Oh, well, it's not your fault, Blanche. Anybody would look that way after the bad fright Harry gave you.
Well, I'd better be going.
Well, Ronnie, what about your eggs?
Oh, I haven't got time, Mother. I'll have them at the studio. Goodbye, Mrs. Morton.
Goodbye. Oh, Ronnie, your books. Don't forget to take them. Yeah, and be sure and bring them home with you.
Yeah, I've got to pretend I'm going to school.
Yes. Here, Blanche, you eat the eggs.
You mean you're really not going to tell George about Ronnie having that part in a picture?
No, he'd never let Ronnie stay out of college that long.
Well, you always get away with it. But don't you ever tell George the truth?
Well, of course, but only when I want to confuse him.
I don't know how you do it, but you always do.
Shh, you wake George up.
It's too late. I understand he left his room 2 minutes ago.
Oh.
Who phoned this early? And what are you girls doing up at 5 o'clock in the morning?
Well, when two girls have been friends as long as we have, and one of them gets sick, the other one has to help her.
You must be the one that's sick, because I've never seen Blanche look better.
Oh, no, it's not me, it's Blanche.
Well, if you're sick, why are you eating eggs?
Doctor's orders.
Doctor's orders?
Well, yes, the doctor told her she has to eat very fresh eggs.
So?
So, the hens lay them at 4:30, and she eats them at 5, yes.
Well, it gives the eggs a chance to touch the ground.
Maybe I better go.
If you will. Let's go back to sleep. I hope you and Blanche didn't wake Ronnie. Kid going to college needs a lot of sleep.
Oh, I'm sure we didn't.
Well, I'll tiptoe in his room and take a look.
Oh, no, I'll go.
Why can't I go?
Well, because you're a man.
What's being a man got to do with it?
Well, it's too much of a shock for a man to see how awful another man looks before he gets up. You see, it doesn't matter for a woman. We're used to it. Ronnie, are you asleep? If you are, don't answer. Just nod. He's asleep.
Is he fast asleep?
Yeah, he nodded twice.
He nodded twice.
Yes.
Gracie?
Yes?
Is Ronnie home from school? It's 2:30. I missed him at breakfast this morning.
Oh, yes, he's up in his room studying.
I didn't hear him come in.
Well, don't worry about that. You'll have to get used to it.
Hello?
Mr. George Burns?
Yes?
Just a moment, please. Mr. Sam Engel from 20th Century Fox Studios calling.
20th Century Fox. They must want me for a picture.
Hello, George.
Hello, Sam.
I've got some wonderful news for you.
Well, Sam, if there are no songs in the picture, I'm not taking it. Give it to Crosby.
Now, George, I called about Ronnie. I've just been on the set of Bernadine watching him work, and the kid looks great.
Ronnie is over at your studio now making your picture. He looks good. But, Sam, this is wonderful news.
I thought it would be. That's why I called you.
Thanks. Oh, by the way, Sam, if you're thinking of making a musical and if you want somebody that can sing, somebody who's got a style and who's had it for a long time, in fact, he's had it so long that his style is back in style again, I'm available. I'm available. Sam, are you there?
Goodbye, George.
He's there. Goodbye, Sam. Say, I'm kind of proud of Ronnie. Went to 20th Century Fox and got a job all by himself. Why shouldn't he have talent? His mother and father have been in show business all their lives. From Gracie, he got his looks, his personality, his timing, his delivery, and from me, he got 2 ties and an old sweater. But it's kind of thrilling to have your son follow in your footsteps. Well, he has to. He's wearing my old shoes, too. With my father, there was a problem. I couldn't follow in his footsteps. His job was sewing pants in the factory. And when you sit all day at a machine, you don't leave any footsteps. Soon you'll be seeing the name of Ronnie Burns in lights outside of movie theaters. What a mistake I made 20 years ago. Well, my name would have been up there. Instead of Ronnie, I should have named him George. You know, when I was Ronnie's age, I could have been a movie star if movies had been invented. So I went into vaudeville instead, and that's why they invented movies. I've always been known as Gracie Allen's husband, but now things will be different. I'll also be known as the father of Gracie Allen's son. But I'm sure that Ronnie's going to be a big movie star someday. You might think that I'm prejudiced because I'm his father, but I'm not. Ask somebody who's impartial, like ask Harry Von Zell. He'll tell you the same thing, or my writers, or director, or anybody else I could fire. But I'm a little worried. Now that Ronnie's got a job, we might not be as close as we used to be. When Ronnie needed money, I'd put my hand in my pocket, and I'd always find his hand there. And I'd take my hand out, and Ronnie would take his out, and then Gracie would take hers. We're a very close family.
Oh, dear, any minute now, George will come wandering down from the dead wanting to see Ronnie. How long can we make him believe Ronnie is upstairs studying?
Certainly not for 5 weeks.
Well, George is so unreasonable. If Ronnie was my son, I'd be delighted to have him stay out of college for a while and earn a little money.
Yes. If you were Ronnie's father, Harry, then you'd be my husband, and I'd like that much better.
Gracie, you mean you'd rather have me for a husband than George? Oh.
Well, I certainly would. No matter what we make up about Ronnie, George will be a little too smart to believe it. You'd be perfect.
I'm sorry, Harry, but for you, that's still a compliment.
Hey, wait a minute. I have an idea. Blanche, Gracie, well, just ask the studio to let Ronnie off a half hour a day. At 2:30, he can bring his books and come home and say hello to George and go back. George would never get wise.
Harry, that's a wonderful idea. I'll get ready, and you can drive me out there, and I'll talk to his producer right away.
No, Gracie, look, I haven't even touched my sandwich yet.
Well, touch it and let's go. I'm in a hurry.
No, look, Gracie, really, I'd much rather if you'd have Blanche go with you.
Oh, no, not me. It was your idea. I wouldn't want to rob you of the glory.
You know, Blanche is right. Her job is to stay here and keep George from going upstairs. He must think that Ronnie is studying.
I'll change my mind. I'll go with you, Gracie. You stay here.
No, Blanche, look, I'll go and you stay. George can't fire you.
Hello, Harry.
Oh, hello, George.
Hello, Blanche. You look better now than you did this morning.
Goodbye, dear. Harry is driving me to the beauty shop. Goodbye, Ronnie.
Goodbye, Ronnie.
Oh, Ronnie is still upstairs studying, huh?
Yes.
Gracie, why are you going to the beauty shop? You just had your hair done.
Oh, it's not her hair, George. It's mine. I'm having a new wave put in front.
Good. In case you suddenly get a new boss, he might like it.
Well, what?
I'm going to have to talk to that boy.
Well, you can't do that.
Well, he was pretty rude. When they left, they said goodbye. He didn't answer them.
Oh, he isn't rude. He's studying. He's got...
You say the boy is studying?
Yeah.
He's working that hard. He should have something to eat. I'll bring him up a sandwich.
I'll bring it to him.
Oh, no, Blanche. I wouldn't think of letting you run up those stairs.
To be silly,
Oh,
I love
no,
to run. Are
no,
you kidding? I run around the
no.
house every
Blanche,
morning.
I
Very
wouldn't
good for
think
the
for
feet.
one
Didn't you
moment.
ever see
I wouldn't.
that? Right on your toes like that. Very good for your figure and watch like
Wait till she finds out she forgot the potato chips.
Ronnie, that's so funny. What a sense of humor that boy has.
Well, what did he say?
Well, it wasn't what he said. It was the way he said it.
What did he say the way he said it?
Well, when I brought him the sandwich, he said he was so glad it was Swiss cheese because that way he could eat and talk through the holes at the same time. That boy was great.
Well, he certainly is because it was a ham sandwich.
He didn't say anything for a laugh.
You forgot the potato chips, and he loves potato chips. I'll take them up.
No, I'll take them, George.
Oh, no, I wouldn't think of it.
No, I insist. I'll take them out.
Well, as long as you insist, at least let me do the takeoff for you. Yeah, you know. Hey, for the exercise. For your ankles, for your toes, for your face. Here, go. Look, I'm going to keep this going with milk and pickles and fruit and candy, so why don't you watch Gracie and Von Zell for a while?
Come in, come in. How do you do, Mrs. Burns?
How do you do?
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, please sit down.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cigarette?
Yes, that's what they are.
And she's right. That's what they are.
Yes. Well, I suppose you've come to see me about Ronnie. I must say, I'm very impressed with the boy.
Thank you. Well, now, what I'm going to ask isn't much. I want you to let him come home every afternoon between 2:30 and 3.
Well, that might be a little difficult. It just could interfere with our shooting schedule. Why does Ronnie have to come home?
Why? Why?
Yeah, why?
Well, he's got to come home for lunch. You see, he's on a special diet. He needs special food, so you will let him come home, won't you?
Well, I'm afraid I can't do that, but there is a commissary here.
I hate to go over your head, but if I have to talk to him, I certainly will.
Ronnie's on a diet. He needs special food.
Yes. Everything my son eats must be specially prepared under the personal supervision of a famous dietitian.
That's right, sir.
And so if Dr. Von Zell was willing to come over and tell you this personally, right in the middle of preparing tomorrow's menu, you know it must be important.
This gentleman is a dietitian.
World famous. He's even written a book on diet. Practically everybody who eats has read it.
Doctor, what's the name of your book?
Well, I put the name is How to Digest.
It's a wonderful book. It tells you what to do with your food after you eat it.
Mr. Adler would like to see you for a story conference.
Oh, thank you. Tell him I'll be right there. And remind me to give you a raise. Well, I'll give it some thought, Mrs. Burns.
Goodbye, Mr. Engel.
Goodbye.
Bye, Mr. Engel.
Goodbye, Dr. Von Zell. You're much more convincing on television.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, no, George. Ronnie can't eat another thing. His feet are killing him.
What do you love? Hi, Dad. Hello, Morton.
Oh, hello, Ronnie.
Hello, Ronnie.
Dad, what's with Mrs. Morton?
She's allergic to fruit. I'm waiting to hear what happened today.
Oh, college is getting tougher every day. We had a chemistry class today. It was just murder.
Your producer, Sam Engel, phoned and he tells me you're doing great in the picture.
You know about it?
Yeah.
And you don't care?
I've always wanted you in show business.
What a relief. Well, I'm going in to take a shower. It's going to be a great picture, Dad, with Pat Boone, Janet Gaynor, Dean Jagger, and Terry Moore.
Good. I'll fix you some hot coffee, then I'll bring it up and we'll have a little talk. So Ronnie is making a picture with Pat Boone. I almost did an act once called Burns and Boone, but Daniel decided to go west instead.
I hope Blanche kept George fooled while we were gone.
Well, they're not here. Maybe they're in the kitchen.
Is Blanche here?
She's home soaking her feet.
Oh, have you been up in Ronnie's room?
No, she wouldn't let me go. But as soon as this coffee is ready, I'm taking it up and we're going to have a little talk.
Oh, no, you can't go.
No, George, Ronnie is studying. He can't be disturbed.
Look, will you stop with that routine? As soon as that coffee is hot, I'm taking it up to him.
Well, Harry, I guess we'll have to tell George the truth.
Yeah. What's the truth?
Well, coffee is the worst thing for what he's got.
Yeah.
What's he got?
Eye strain.
Eye strain?
Yes, from studying too hard. You see, he's got to stay in bed with his head under the covers. In fact, his head's under the covers right now. Isn't it, Harry?
Yeah, yes, and I'm leaving, so I won't catch it.
Yeah, and I'll see you to the door. Harry.
Upstairs in bed under the covers, sir. I thought so. No problem.
Where's Harry?
He just left.
Oh?
Yeah. Oh, now we're going up to see Ronnie, but you must promise not to disturb him.
I promise.
Well, there he is. But don't pull the covers off, poor boy. His eyes are swollen.
So is the rest of them.
Ronnie, your father's here, but if you don't want to be disturbed and you want us to leave, just move.
Your boy with weak eyes, he moves strong.
Well, let's go. He'll be here for 5 weeks.
Gracie! Gracie! He's, not only got bad eyes, but he's got a cold, too.
Oh, hi, Mother.
Shh, quiet or you'll disturb Ronnie.
Ronnie?
Yeah. Oh, it's you. What are you doing here?
Mother, Dad knows about the picture.
Oh, you do?
Of course. And you're fired. Fired?
Darling.
Sweetheart. Ronnie, tell us about this picture. What did you do today?
Well,
I mean, what's it about?
well, the story, it's about 4 high school boys
Yeah.
who practically live in the back of this hamburger stand.
Uh-huh.
And they're always calling the phone company.
Yeah. George and Grace will be right back and do one of their vaudeville routines.
Gracie.
Thank you very much. Well, Gracie, I noticed you got a letter from home. Any news?
Yes, my sister Hazel went bowling the other night.
Oh, well, that's good for a figure. Did she like it?
Oh, yes. But she said it was very discouraging. Every time she knocked the pins down, somebody put them up again.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that your sister Hazel went in for bowling.
My whole family loves bowling.
Oh?
My Uncle Andy is a champion.
Champion, huh?
Yeah, he's so proud of it. He had Andy Allen, champion bowler, written on the backs of all his shirts and his coats and his overcoats.
Why his coats and overcoats?
Well, in case a car hits him and knocks him down, they'll know who he is.
But supposing a car hits him and knocks him down and he lands on his back.
Oh, well, on the front of all his clothes it says, "Please turn me over."
Champion. How did he happen to take up bowling?
Well, that was sort of accidental. What he wanted to be was a billiard champ, but he couldn't become one hanging around a bowling alley.
Well, why didn't he hang around a billiard parlor?
Well, because he was afraid he'd look conspicuous. You'd feel the same way if you had a bowling ball stuck on your hand.
He had a bowling ball stuck on his hand?
Yes, so when people saw him standing in a bowling alley, they thought nothing of it. They figured he was waiting for his turn.
With that thing stuck on his hand, wasn't that a little inconvenient?
Well, it wasn't so bad around the bowling alley, but it did interfere a little with his work during the day.
What kind of work did he do?
He was a watchmaker.
He had this thing stuck on, and he made watches?
Oh, only for a few years. Then they noticed he was breaking some of the watch crystals.
What did he do after that?
He went to work in a fruitcake factory cracking nuts.
He was cracking nuts in the fruitcake factory?
Yes, you see, he put the nut in his teeth and then just tapped
Hit himself on the head with the bowling ball. Yeah, well, it's ridiculous, really. Let me ask you something. How did he happen to get his hand stuck in a bowling ball in the first place?
Oh, we don't know. He never mentioned how it happened.
He never, well, didn't you ask him?
Well, of course not. When Aunt Lillian first met him and got engaged, she noticed the ball stuck in his hand, but she didn't want to mention it either.
Oh, she didn't want to embarrass him, I guess.
Well, partly. And it was partly because she didn't want him to ask her how she happened to have the milk bucket caught on her left foot.
She had a milk bucket caught on her left foot, and he had a bowling ball stuck on his hand?
Yes, but that wasn't the only thing they had in common.
Oh?
They both had freckles.
Freckles. So did he. Good night.
Appearing on tonight's show were Herbert Rudley as Sam Engel and Sandra Burns as his secretary.